Welcome to Implementation Coach, where we help you make more, do more, and be more. Today's discussion is, if you are not failing, you are not trying. So let's get started. Taking a risk with your business can be intimidating. What if the new product doesn't sell, the call not returned, the proposal rejected, the message ignored, or the deal lost? In and out of each day, from operations to marketing, you're constantly making decisions on how to grow your business and whether or not to take a risk on new ideas, both big and small. Too often, we look at failure as a highly negative and toxic destination, when really it's just a perspective that needs tweaking. If we choose, we can instead look at failure as success, another step forward in realizing our goals. All of the best companies are experts at being failures. Well, expert at failing, learning, and then moving forward. For example, Facebook has had countless whiffs and errors as they seek to grow and expand, from privacy issues, Facebook email, and some other ideas were just bad and didn't work. In 1985, Coke, one of the biggest and steady companies in the world for decades, jolted their image and flatlined their business with New Coke. Ford Motors deeply tarnished its name in the 1980s, producing models like the Pinto and disfiguring the popular Mustang design. And Steve Jobs made numerous mistakes that led him to being ousted from Apple in the early 90s, before he eventually came back and made it into the most valuable company in the world. Looking back, all these companies simply took failure as feedback. They didn't freak out or freeze up, at least not for long, and they just took corrective action. Without the failures and the risk that they took, they wouldn't have known what they needed to change to be more successful. In its prime, MySpace was sold for $580 million, but the investor, News Corp, they did nothing with the company, and it was sold last year for only $35 million. What a loss. If you recall, MySpace was the social media giant, and Facebook was just a young, scrambling underdog company. They were criticized, MySpace, for being too stagnant. They stopped adding value, stopped taking risks, and it wasn't long before Facebook ran over them. News Corp raised the white flag, took a bath, and sold off the company for $35 million. Thanks to the risks of failure, Facebook now has over 1 billion users. And Ford, well, they thrived, and was the only American company recently to not take a bailout during the recession. And Coke, well, they remain number one in the consumer soda industry. And Apple, Steve Jobs' company, well, we know that he returned to the helm of the ship, and not only that, it eventually became, per Forbes, the single most valuable company of 2012. He did it, one risk at a time. He rolled out new products, some of which were wildly successful because he treated the failure as simply helpful feedback, not a destination. I've always been inspired by Sarah Blakely, the founder and CEO of Spanx, which produces shapewear for both men and women. She recounts, quote, "My dad encouraged us to fail. Growing up, he would ask us what we failed at that week. If we didn't have something, he would be disappointed. It changed my mind. It changed my mindset at an early age that failure is not the outcome. Failure is not trying. Don't be afraid to fail." End quote. Wow, what great advice. Boy, did Sarah take it to heart. She tried for law school and failed the entry exam. She worked as a ride operator at Disneyland, and with only $5,000, she started her Spanx undergarment line, and now investors estimate her company is worth $1 billion. Also impressively, she has no investor groups in the company. She remains the primary owner. And I just recently read she opened a new retail Spanx store in New York. So if she keeps trying to fail at this rate, well, watch out. Remember the adage, some will, some won't. So what? So someone will. Rally your dreams and keep moving forward as you grow your business. And remember, the only real failure is not trying.